Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network. Alright, y'all see what we got going on here today. As y'all see the thumbnail, y'all read the title under the thumbnail. Yeah, man, today's video is dealing with all the paper route ops and everybody who had their hands in taking out young Dolph at the cookie shop. So everybody already know that JaMarcus, he's telling everything, man. Well, that's everything dealing with his brother Straight Drop. He's trying to make sure that these people is not trying to pin this whole young Dolph setup on him. Because if y'all don't know, they tried to say that JaMarcus was the one that orchestrated and paid for the whole young Dolph setup. So y'all gotta understand the predicament that put JaMarcus in, where he's like, man, I was just trying to help my brother Straight Drop. I wasn't trying to let these people associate me with having something to do with taking out young Dolph. So with that being said, that's the reason why JaMarcus, he's taking a stand. And at the same time, I ain't mad at it. You gotta do what you gotta do, especially when you wasn't paid for that position. But with JaMarcus informing them people about his position and Govin being released, you got Yo Gotti, Big Juke, they guard dog Blac Youngsta, and Lil Migo. They all paranoid right now. They don't know what to do. Because at first, they thought it was all good. They thought they was gonna get away. Because the Scorpion unit was protecting them guys. But now that the feds got the Scorpion unit out the way, they can now properly handle this whole young Dolph case. Again, Govin release is based on a few factors, which are medical and the ops was trying to get to him, plus the courts trying to place a prime suspect whom is Govin in the safest environment until trial. Now, some folks still believe that releasing Govin places him more in harm's way than him being locked up. Trust me, the feds is familiar with all this. They know the criminal history of Govin and Straight Drop, plus JaMarcus, and they know that none of them have the funds to pay off this whole setup. So the Alphabet Boys, they trying to get to whoever pulling the strings behind Yo Gotti and Big Juke. And I know you got some folks thinking because JaMarcus is telling his position right along with his brother Straight Drop. Yeah, man, JaMarcus, he went and pointed out Straight Drop as being the one who upped the burner and sent up young Dolph. But I told y'all, I don't believe that whole story to be true. I honestly believe that Govin was let in through the back door so he can have a clear shot on young Dolph. Because if anybody could pay attention to the whole setup, the way those guys hopped out the white Benz, again started spraying shells everywhere, young Dolph, he wouldn't have been the only one hit. A couple other folks in there would have been sent up. And not just that, if it's 4 or 5 people in there, right along with young Dolph and his brother Marcus Thornton, then how's these guys only being charged with one attempted M1? And that attempted M1 is only on Marcus Thornton, the brother of young Dolph. That don't make any sense. Again, if shells is spraying everywhere, then that means they will have 4 attempted M1s, not just one. So from the beginning, they always handled this young Dolph case a little funny. But like I was saying, that could be because of the Scorpion unit. Now all those guys that was affiliated to Heavy Camp and CMG that had their hands in taking out young Dolph, you don't really hear much from none of them. You know Yo Gotti, he'll pop out with Angela Simmons here and there. But y'all see, man, that relationship, it don't even seem real. It look faker than Yo Gotti beat. It's just funny how they all thought they was gonna get away so easily with taking out young Dolph. Again, they didn't understand how much love that young Dolph had, not just in Memphis. I'm talking about across the globe. And everybody know that. Or if they didn't know, now they starting to see it. But all that went on between Yo Gotti and young Dolph to end up in Pepper Route Frank's untimely demise, it was uncalled for. It could have went a different route. I'm speaking from the perspective of, what if these guys, they couldn't get along, but at the same time, they stayed in their own zone. Both of those guys built up a huge fan base, so the money coming in. So it seemed like competition became more of a problem than anything. It's just crazy because both of these guys, they came up out of Memphis, and we all watched their growth, from Yo Gotti to young Dolph. They made a name in the city of Memphis. It's just one, he decided to take a different route. And you already know who I'm talking about, young Dolph Paper Route. But all the fans of young Dolph, they seen how he campaigned to build an empire, which was having a mentality of believing and investing in yourself. Yeah, you got a lot of people out there willing to invest in you, but at the same time, you got to understand the game and how much they willing to take from you. And that's something that young Dolph always talked about. Again, that's why he chose his own paper route and didn't want to be under Yo Gotti CMG. Even though, if y'all don't know, that's what started the whole beef. But here we are today, speaking on the King of Memphis, whom is young Dolph. Somebody who changed the scope of the game by putting a bunch of young cats on. Let's pay our respects and say rest in peace to young Dolph, condolences to his family, and much love to all my folks in Dolph land. Again, I already know my folks in Dolph land, they missing a real one out there. And they can also see that Yo Gotti, his brother Big Juke, they guard dog Blac Youngsta, and Lil Migo, they all quiet. Of course, they could all act like they not being affected, but we all know what's going on. Again, because they could feel the heat. They could feel the walls closing in on them. But this speaks volume that black men, we only see one another as competition. And since we have that mindset, we have no problem taking one another out. And that's an issue if we trying to properly grow and develop. Because I even knew, once the judge start throwing those football numbers out there, everybody gonna talk. And that's what we see happening right now. You know, everybody over there was all cool with setting up young Dolph for whatever reason they had that they didn't want young Dolph here. And that could be because of jealousy, greed. Young Dolph, he was competition in the city of Memphis. So all those things combined could be the reasons behind young Dolph's untimely demise. And I ain't even equate the fact that young Dolph was buying up a bunch of properties out there in Memphis. So that could also make some folks have an issue with young Dolph as well. But like I said, man, with JaMarcus Johnson telling his position, it's not over with. Because them people, they really want to know who paid that bag to have young Dolph removed. Because like I told y'all before, they even know it's not Govin. That's the reason why they gave Govin a bond release. Because they want to see who he gonna speak to and be around on a day-by-day basis. So Blac Youngsta, all your days of dissing young Dolph and going at the different paper route artists, it's over with. Yeah, Blac Youngsta, all that dissing young Dolph grave site and spraying your bodily fluids all on it, it's over with. Or pulling up to Cat State with the burners out, asking for the paper route affiliates, I bet you ain't gonna be doing that no more. It's over with. Yeah, they all thought it was cool, and now they see they all messed up their life trying to follow Yo Gotti, his brother Big Juke, and their guard dog Blac Youngsta. That all these young dudes, they messed up their own lives. Now they starting to see the effects of going at young Dolph, the King of Memphis. And even with all that, people still see you as a joke. Because instead of trying to find every opportunity to go at young Dolph, you could have been wasting that same time and energy trying to benefit the city of Memphis as a whole, not try to take somebody productive away from it. Knowing that young Dolph, he brought a lot of hope to the folks in those communities. So in order to get from under this negative cloud, the last thing us black men need to promote is destruction when it's time to build. And if us adults don't respect that simple concept, then what do we expect for the youth to do? We gotta find a common ground and find some way to come together to benefit the next generation. And to all my young Dolph fans and supporters, always be aware and always stay prepared. But hey, we got more in store. As always, y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it's worth. Let's get this merch. Subscribe to the PDH Network.